Good evening, gamers, and welcome to Huge Major Gaming, also known as Hybrid Major Glitches 2023 tournament. I'm Dark and Sky, and I'm joined by Zero Rush. How's it going?
Pretty good. Hello, everybody.
I don't know too much of SimpleClips history with this mode. I know that Spleebie's been playing the game for years. Pretty knowledgeable at this point, but I'm not too familiar with SimpleClips. Do you know very much about them?
I believe he's newer. I don't know how new because I just started playing glitch modes again recently, but I want to say he was in the Mentor tournament. I may be wrong on that.
There's
No confirming it. Yeah, I think this is game one. I don't know if... I think this is game one of his first match, so I don't think he's actually had a race in this tournament yet. I can check that, though.
I think this is Spleebie's first round. I think SimpleClips had one game already, although I can't remember.
Oh, yep. You're right. He played against PH 2-1.
That's what it was. A lot to keep track of in these brackets these days.
Yes. Yeah, should be good. I know Cliff's been posting a lot in the Discord, learning various, I don't want to say niche things, but useful things to know after like the initial required things to know. Like he's working on Moldorm bounce today, he said as well. So we'll see if he gets to use that in this race.
That's kind of the fun thing with glitch modes is you learn all the initial stuff, but then there's just so much skill ceiling from there. There's so many like faster strats, better strats to learn, but it looks like we're off and both starting at Link's house.
Yep, I'm guessing this will be Hobo start. That seems very popular. Hobo is probably one of the worst Sphere 1 checks, honestly, in this mode. There's a lot of ways to route it in, but none of them are particularly efficient. So you kind of just pick which one you like the most.
Yeah,
Clip's getting terrible guard RNG.
Oh no, Spleebie got stuck.
Yeah, this is another one that has like, I don't know, half a dozen different setups. Depending on whether you clip here, you can clip into the cliff in the bottom and hop out and like do a teleport. You can also just go to the edge of the screen and hop into the water, do the normal transition, which is easy but a lot slower.
Oh no, Spleebie's stuck again.
Ooh, that's not going to work. Yeah, okay. That's a hard lock if he lands in that water.
It's a little more precise than it looks. If you mess up that down right input, it can just really not go correctly after that.
Yeah. Yep, simple going for the cliff setup now. Makes sense. We'll see if Spleebie does that too, or just ignores it.
Now, once upon a time, he used to not put Hobo in the route until later, so if you can't get the river clip, we'll see where that leads from here.
Yeah. There's an interesting opener / route with swim clipping you can do here. You fake flip her out, and it can swim clip right over to Eastern. It's not really any faster than just a save and quit, but some people go to Ice or Cave instead, which we'll see if they do. Which it looks like that's what he's doing.
It's definitely a good skill to have. I know the one clip to Pyramid Fairy, and that's about all. Seeing a little divergence here, though, with Spleebie choosing to go to Sank. Most likely going to go to CAC at this point, if I know his routing.
He does with bombs, so he's well equipped there. Some people like to put it off to get a bottle. You kind of get different opinions there, whether it's good to wait or not, just because CAC is like pretty much the most item dense location in the game, outside of like GT. So you kind of run the risk of missing really nice items for a while versus having to go back a second time with a bottle later on. And it's a good chance to buy a potion if you do have one when you're there as well. Really early Zora play. I find that it's pretty rare to come here with enough money to begin with, but maybe it'll come up.
Yeah. Might be worth it if you can route it in later with Catfish and Amir, but you are kind of orphaning Zora at that point. Nice hook shot here in the Lost Woods, just waiting for us to pick it up.
Early hook shot is always very, very nice. Especially for Simple, because I don't believe he hovers, but also it makes clipping a lot easier, and it opens up like Hera routing. Yeah, I guess that's about it. But it's still nice to have.
Yeah, until we know whether it's needed for Swamp, but even so, like you mentioned with Hera, it's HMG Hera is very different from normal, and Hera Pot becomes a lot bigger of a sequence break in this mode.
Exactly. Not having access, the hookshot in Hera, like on Moldorm or upstairs in Hera, is one of the worst spots for it. A lot of times, because what will happen is your big key isn't available. You literally have to go clip through Mire to get to Hera to get that, which is not convenient by any means.
Only 5 rupees from the bomb pole. I tend to forget to go for that in this mode. There's just so much else to do. Surprised Spleebie didn't actually make his way to CAC, chose to go up the mountain instead. Not his usual meta, but it goes to show you can always do something different.
Apparently my voice is way too loud. Hold on.
I completely missed was on Lumberjack, but looks like on the restream it's just a piece of heart. Not going to be seeing Aghanim today. Is there a reason to do it in this mode when we can just go to the Dark World, the Moon Pearl? Nice Tomb Raider from Spleebie.
The route Clips took here, I really like. Finding the Lumberjack check, which is often kind of like Hobo, a really awkward thing to check in terms of efficiency. But you combine that with the DMA and just go straight into Death Mountain or Hera.
Yeah, that's a good play for sure. We do get the small key for Hera. You'll see runners pick this up, but not check it most of the time, because typically we want to try to save that for Swamp Palace. One of the HMG clips is to go to Swamp from Hera. And you can get the key from Mire instead, but if you can go from Hera, it can sometimes be nicer, depending on the route.
Yep, there's also the fact that you have to find the Mire medallion, and if it's a pendant, you really don't want to go in there. I think we had a race, I don't remember whose it was, but we had a race earlier in this tournament with Hookshot on Moldorm, which was kind of that exact scenario where you use the keys from Mire to clip into Hera to get everything.
Yeah, with that big key not being downstairs, it definitely makes for some interesting situations. Just 50 rupees on the floating island. That is an open check, but we do not need it, obviously.
There's also interesting... They didn't really find anything in here so far, but there's always interesting logic considerations when you find an item. Hera potting. Trying to figure out what that blocks or what blocks it, since I don't believe Hera pot is considered in the logic itself.
Correct. I don't think we talked about the map check at all, but judging by what Thomas put on the tracker, it looks like it's just 3 crystals in the light world.
Losing by that dead rock, that was lucky. So pretty completely barren light world so far, which is unfortunate. We'll see what these chests have, but generally speaking, you're really looking for the moon pearl primarily. HMG has like 2 big spheres, I would say. There's the non-moon pearl sphere and the moon pearl sphere, and then all of the random one-offs after that. So being able to find that and just do everything together is super nice.
That's pretty accurate, I would say. Sphere 1 is just so large. The moon pearl could be almost anywhere.
Yeah. It's not that uncommon to be like 30 minutes into a seed and just need like moon pearl plus 1 other item in order to beat all of the available dungeons.
Oh, Spleebie is dedicating himself to the cat skip for now. He's going to South Shore instead. Completely subverted my expectations. Let's go.
I have to say, I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but some runners I see skip it for so long that it borders on just insanity, in my opinion. Like, there's so many chests in there, and you wait so long to check it.
Yeah, I can't understand putting it off for that long. Because, like you said, there's just so much there. And what if it's something big?
Yeah, if you're not struggling in the seed and you're going to do it anyway, but you know, some people will do crazy, like they'll be getting into pod or turtle rock before checking CAC, which is, in my opinion, very risky.
Yeah, especially if you don't have the items to clear it. Nice glove in the mini Moldorm cave.
Yep. First glove is always very nice. Second glove is very infuriating.
A lot less nice, yes.
Nice Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider. I think you can do that with the fighter sword, but Bomb looks a lot nicer.
You would know more about that than I would. I have not learned that one yet.
It's the same, pretty much the exact same as the escape from hammer pegs with the hookshot, just in the other direction. You just have to set it up by hopping off the ledge cliff.
I have learned that one. Nice 4 bomb stun prize.
Wow. Has the hookshot, has 4 bombs, still up in the ground. This man does not like bombs or Kakariko Village.
This is true. SimpleClips, meanwhile, seems to like hack enough. Here we are. See what Spleebie's missing out on.
They haven't found like anything yet. The glove really only opens back of escape and checkerboard cave right now. So if there's anything in the light rope, it's probably going to be your Kakariko at this point.
Yeah, otherwise we'll be looking at pod and those other gross checks we were talking about earlier. Although they don't even have a mirror, so I don't know if any of the Dark World is in Logic yet.
Don't
have my tracker in front of me to tell me.
Yeah, if they had the hammer, they could get to Super Bunny Cave. That would be about it. But yeah, they're kind of missing like a key item for all of the individual checks.
Yeah. I think the mirror also puts Super Bunny in Logic, as well as enabling you to do Bunny Descent from the mountain.
Correct.
Nice Ice Rod from Zora. That might come back for SimpleClips later, depending on Turtle Rock.
Yep. If my first item was Ice Rod in every seed, I would never complain.
That's a good philosophy.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing here is that's actually, I don't want to claim Doom 12 minutes into the seed, but going back for a singular Zora check is not generally something people do unless they're really, grasping at single locations. So if Turtle Rock is still, that might really bite Clips later in the seed when you're in the Dark World with like 100 item locations and you just need the Ice Rod.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, we had the other rod in the back of escape.
Very nice. So they could do. They could. I mean, could already complete desert with the lamp, but it's a little more appealing with the fire rod. Especially since he doesn't have a sword. Yeah, so bomb landmo, not fun.
Spleebie entering CAC not too far behind SimpleClips.
Well, he was right to skip it apparently, because there's literally nothing there.
This is true. How often does that happen? Nice bottle, they're gonna have to go back to CAC.
Fairy bottle is... You can do a lot of things in this mode with fairy, if you really want to, but I wouldn't call any of it convenient. In my experience, fairy is a little more of a liability, trying to like set up death warps and stuff. But we'll see if they do anything interesting with it. You can do like overworld fairy revives and bunny swims if they don't ever find the moon pearl. So Clips. Well, we know where both fire sources are, and Clips doesn't have either one, so this is also going to be a double dip for him eventually. Desert's not too bad to double dip. It's mostly just getting there. If you later on, if you have like the mirror, you can do it with Meyer, but it never feels good to have to come back here a second time.
Yeah. It's not too much time lost since you can just run from Link's house and clip, but yeah, it's definitely better to route it in with something else if you can.
There's a really interesting route you can do to get to desert, which is just fake flute from the dark world to like 6 screen transition, go back to the real dark world. If you don't have like the mitts or something to just flute straight there rather than walking.
Skipping all the arrows in desert. Let's go. Ooh, Clips still has to do South Shore. But after that, where do you think of going next? Pod's got to be pretty big on the mind with its 5 items.
Yeah. Without the bow, it's hard to say if Pod's going to be in Logic, which, you know, doesn't necessarily matter. It's still a good spot to check with the lamp or fire rod, which puts like the dark basement in Logic, usually, if you have enough keys. So that or like Eastern is what we're looking at, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't think either one's checked Saha yet.
Yeah. I think Spleebie went there, maybe. I could be mistaken, though. But we've got to be finding something of significance pretty soon here. We're starting to get down to the wire.
I'm assuming Spleebie will complete Desert while he's here, so Simple will be spending a bit of time catching up a few checks he didn't do in South Shore yet. If he is going to go back to Zora, now is probably the best time to do it, since he's already done the mountain, I believe. So there's a Zora DMD where you can go straight from the mountain to Zora's domain, which is the like second best time to check it, but he probably won't be going back up there anytime soon.
Yeah. Could arm the water walk out of Ice Rod Cave and run there really quick, but that's a little slower.
Yeah. It's not impossible. At this point, you kind of, whenever you skip Zora or a location similar to that, and you're running this dry, it, you know, starts weighing in the back of your mind for quite a while.
Right. Gotta think about at one point you're gonna go back, or if there's something there, or you could just choose to orphan it forever and say that's my last location.
Yes, I believe they did get the same sword. I think we've only seen the one.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember where it was, but I'm pretty sure you're right. He flips to pick up his glove and his lamp here.
Yeah, I expect him to save and quit here, most likely. After South Shore and go straight to back of Escape, much like Spleebie did.
Yeah.
They could also do front of Escape. You could do front to back if the small key's available, which isn't the worst idea.
Especially with running this low on items, not knowing whether pod is bow locked or even a crystal. I tend to agree.
Funnily enough, the change they made a while back to show you whether a dungeon was a crystal or pendant is actually really nice in this mode, because in a lot of cases it's hard to check. Because like when you flip into pod from Light World, if you go outside, you're in Fate World. So if you map check, it'll show you, I believe, the Light World pendants.
That's
so
true.
You never really know. But luckily, once you zone back in, it will tell you up on the magic tracker.
Would it have been the meta to not use an MSU pack at that point?
Maybe.
We did see Zora. I didn't even register that that's where he was until it was over. So nice, Rod.
That's very good. That's a game loser, skipping that one. So luckily he won't have to worry about that. I'm sure it's not really what he was looking for, but probably a huge relief for him to see that he went back.
Oh, for sure. Even more relief for us, I'd say.
Spleebie doing the old long hop to Agnes Cave.
I believe we saw that on both sides. I'm proud. I keep forgetting to try it.
I don't think either one used that key to go to Dark Cross, which is really nice. I can't. I think I found the small key in Hera. I can't remember, but they have the hook shot, so it's not super relevant. But anytime you can, saving that key is really good to do.
Yeah, I believe the Hera small was in the map chest, so I think they do have it.
Okay, good. It doesn't come up very often that you need to summon a key to open Swamp from Hera, but when it does come up, it'll save minutes or more. It's not a quick thing to get around. You have to find the medallion, you have to go to Mire, you have to flip from Mire to Hera, then from Hera to Swamp.
Now we're seeing the runners converge on front of Escape now. Picked up that powder, another incentive to head back to Kakariko at some point.
All in all, this has been a pretty vanilla glitch seed, I would say. They haven't really had to do a whole lot other than just kind of navigate the Light World. They just haven't had the opportunity. I mean, we got to see various slope clips to like desert and mountain, but nothing too extreme yet. There's Ether. It'll be really interesting to see what they do if they find the other glove, which will put Ice Palace in logic.
Ooh, that is true.
The classic fighter sword, green mail, cold stare. Well, they would need hammer to do cold stare, but still.
That would be pretty gross to have to go into ice to find the Moon Pearl, and then leave to find the hammer and come back later.
Really, digging at the bottom of the barrel here. We're getting to a situation where, depending on what they find, we could potentially have some really, really gross Moon Pearl locations. If they find the mirror, there's Turtle Rock, there's Skull Woods. They could check. There's like chess game, all of that fun stuff.
There's two
Another
chests
glove.
in Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, exactly. Hammer lets them go to Super Bunny Cave and some other various things. Both are Death Warping, which tells me they're just going to go directly to Dark Frost from here.
Yeah.
Both had to get rid of their fairy, so like I said,
They did both
it's
remember.
often, yeah, it's often an inconvenience. You never really get to actually use it.
I think we just talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Nice to see prophecies coming true.
I don't think I haven't been playing HMG that long, but even back in the overall glitch races tournaments, it was. I've never had to overworld fairy revive, and I can't remember a situation where anyone's done it in a race and it's really mattered all that much. But it'll happen someday, I'm sure.
I joined the glitch community right after those, so I definitely haven't seen it.
It probably comes up a lot in No Logic, but that's a different kind of glitching altogether.
Makes sense for Spleebie to go back and finish Hera that he skipped earlier.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
he could also clip into Swamp from here. I don't think any of the checks are in Logic. They all, I believe, require entrance access in order to be in Logic.
that is right.
Yeah, so he'd need the mirror, or actually, I guess it is in Logic because he has the lamp, right? So yeah, maybe Mooncurl could be in Swamp in some of the chests if the key is available.
Don't you also need the flippers, though?
That is... yes.
I'm pretty
Yes,
sure
that
that
sounds
all swamp checks are locked behind flippers, like no matter which way you come at it from.
Yeah,
I had to learn
believe
this the
you're right.
hard way.
Yeah, I think you're right, because Swamp can have the hook shot. It can require you to enter from another dungeon to get the hook shot, but you still need to be able to enter the actual vanilla dungeon, which always requires the flippers, so yeah, you're right.
Right. So the game doesn't expect you to open any chests in a different dungeon state in this mode. Yep, there's Mama with the story. The first HMG race was quite an experience. That's a story for another time.
I assume Spleebie is going to pod from here. That makes the most sense. Maybe not. I'm clearly wrong. He might just be going to Small or something.
Back of Hera for the one.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Both of them did open the back of escape door, so they can steal the escape key if needed from the key rat.
Yeah, this is an interesting choice. I mean, it makes sense because there's an item here. It's in Logic, but I don't know if I'd come here before Pod. Pod is just a lot more items in it.
Yeah.
Tile room is really low. And getting to Hera is super quick.
Be interesting to see how that plays out. Meanwhile, I don't think we've seen anything in Eastern until that mirror.
That's a good find, but also a terrible find. That's really awkward. Especially for, obviously, Spleebie getting stuck without the mirror. No.
Oh no.
You always want to be careful on those pegs. If you're in a certain spot and the pegs come up, moving a specific way will snap you into that corner and you can't move. You can fix it depending on your item loadout, I think. If you have a way to hit the switch from that far away, like Red Cane or something. But in his case, he's got nothing.
Really unfortunate that he spent all that time and couldn't even reap the benefit.
I hope I didn't catch it. Did you see if he reset or if he's saved and quit?
He saved and quit, so he's gonna have to. If he wants to go into Swamp from Hera, he's gonna have to steal the key from Escape.
Yeah. So none of the rewards and all of the risk. So now we're seeing Pod. So I'm guessing Simple's going to Pod as well. Or no, he looks like he might be just Going straight into mirror clips. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so what I was going to say earlier is this is always a bit tense when you're newer because mirror dark world logic can be a little... I don't know a great way to describe it. It's not that it's difficult, it's just that it's complicated and it's easy, really, really easy to mess up, and it takes a lot of time to do things with no moon pearl with mirror in the dark world. So messing anything up is automatically just a gigantic ton loss.
Yeah. Looks like this is Pyramid Fairy setup though.
Yep. So he doesn't have the flute. Has a lot of health, so death warping probably not quick. Looks like he's probably just going to do the old DMD or straight to Pyro Castle.
Maybe he'll run around and...
Will he do... Nope, he's checking... Oh, I like this.
Oh, we're going to Houlihan.
Yeah. I was also wondering if maybe he was going to River Clip, but that might be a little out there.
Yeah, I think generally if you River Clip, you're going to go down the left side to be right next to it, but
yeah.
Might not know to tap left to make that one work.
I think dashing might be fine. He might bonk here. Oh, he's good. So, for anyone who's confused what happened there, that's a mirror displacement. Basically, SimpleClips wrapped the map on Death Mountain in the Dark World, so it thought that's where he was sitting, and then he just created a mirror portal. Your mirror portal will go away when you save and quit, which is why he did not do that. Instead, he flipped directly back to Hyrule Castle, so we could go through the mirror portal on top of the Pyramid Fairy. It lets you skip having to actually complete the dungeons and turn in the big bomb and all that fun stuff. There's a few different ways to do that. That's the one that's in logic, though.
I liked watching Spleebie try to kill the green mimics while trying to clip the red mimic out of bounds. I think that's what we were seeing.
Oh, that's a nice corner over there.
I know it's like the same motion as spin speed, but I just cannot fathom doing this unbuffered.
Yeah, it's the same motion, but it's like 7 times in a row. There's like a controller grip for it. I mean, it's something you still have to practice for sure to get used to. I'm pointing out that Simple did not check the fairy with his empty bottle, so we do not know what that is. A blue potion there would be super nice. It would have let him easily get to like Skull Woods, for example, without having to do all the mirror shenanigans.
Oh, did Simple not do the mountain checks earlier? I thought he had.
I wonder if he just maybe didn't do... Okay. Nope, looks like he hadn't done any of them. Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Eastern before Mountain, that's bold.
That was Paradox Cave being so dense. That is definitely bold.
I didn't catch the key layout on Spleebie's side, so I don't know if this side is bomb locked or bow locked. The Dark Maze is always bow locked, I believe. That's like a special exception. Even though it's technically possible for it not to be, it was sometimes creating impossible seeds when people use keys in dumb ways. So never like no more of that.
Big key was on the right side. I didn't catch any of the rest of it.
Yeah. I think this is probably the last logical check. Book does not much.
There is a sword in Eastern, though, so we could see a Moon Pearl on the Bonos tablet or the Ether tablet.
I could be wrong, Malmo, about it in HMG. I'm pretty sure in regular logic, unless they changed it at some point. I've been a bit of a way. I'd have to take a look at it. I thought they specifically made it always bow locked because of some weird setup, but they might have fixed that at one point. This was like a few years ago.
Like SimpleClips is gonna buy some potions for overworld YVAs.
Yep. He could go check, turn in that powder as well. That also wouldn't be in logic, because you have to do a map wrap to get to it. But, I mean, if you have to go check the bottle, or the sick kid, to get an item, you might as well do it while you're over there if you know how to.
Yeah. Nice Tokyo drift from Spleebie. Let's go.
I'm, every time I see that, I'm disappointed all over again that that doesn't dig up any items until the last actual dig. I think it's one
Imagine
of the greatest.
all those digs and all those
Yeah.
lag frames.
It would only spawn so many, I think, before it just filled up the slots, the sprite slots. But yeah, Malmo confirming 6 key locks in pods. So I guess in that case, if 2 items are on the right side, or 2 non-keys, I suppose, which is possible.
Spleebie's doing the wrap. These were recently taken out of logic, so this check won't be in logic yet. But with the mirror being in Eastern, we know that it is in logic. Just not for Spleebie. Ooh.
Okay, that's actually really interesting. So it's locked behind Mitts and Mirror or Hammer. Mitts, Mirror, and Pearl or Hammer, I believe.
Yeah.
We have the Mirror. We don't have the other 2. Finally getting that hobo check from Spleebie. Yeah, Mitts locked behind Mitts, so it's locked behind the Hammer, for sure. Which means Hammer is not locked behind Mitts, which means Hammer is not in Ice Palace.
Let's go.
Or Mitts, I guess.
Yeah, the 3 Mitts checks. The Smith chain and the Ice Palace.
Pearl, Mirror, or Hammer. Oh, because of the... You're right, because you can clip over from the others. Okay. Never mind. So it could...
Spleebie's going for the citrus.
So we're getting a Thieves Town before a Skullwoods, which... Wow. Okay, was apparently the correct move. Ignore me. There's the hand.
Could have very easily been wrong, but here we are.
Yeah. I mean, it's not wrong so much as Moon Pro can't be here.
Right.
But who needs it?
I mean, it's a crystal dungeon. There's still a couple other items to go that we'll talk about here in a second. So I can see the appeal of doing Thieves Town.
If Clips had to do some bunny clips, I think he could complete. Since Myers, I mean, he could do like a little revive, but I'm pretty sure he could finish the seed without the Pearl at this point. If he, depending on where everything else is.
Yeah, it just takes so much time to keep having to bypass the Pearl and go back into the Dark World every time.
Yeah. Which really makes me wonder where that Pearl is. There's only a couple places left it could be, I think.
Yeah.
So since we know the... Yeah, we know the hair requires Moon Pearl, so...
It could be in Turtle Rock. Could be...
Turtle Rock chess game...
C-shaped and chess...
Yeah.
Or chess game, you said, yeah.
Yeah, C-shaped. Skullwoods as well as another one.
Yeah.
They did add Bunny Pocket to the logic. And then also, I think, even just death dungeon reviving is maybe dungeon reviving is not logic, because I guess you could just kill Hagen and you'd be screwed.
I thought it was, but it's also just like an easy thing to do. So I don't know if I've ever thought of it as logical.
I think I'm thinking specifically back of Skullwood's thing. Front of Skullwood's, yeah, probably because you don't need to go out back into the overworld.
Gotta imagine Spleebie takes the same routes Clips did, where you check the Pyramid Fairy first and then start doing your gross dark checks from there.
Yeah. It says became useless. Not useless, but kind of useless.
Not what we're looking for sure.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where Spleebie goes here. Whether he goes like Turtle Run or follows the same path Clips did. Well, the answer's that.
Bunny Citrus DMD. Didn't really see anything of interest in Thieves Town. I could have missed something, but I don't believe there was. Oh, besides the hammer. You're right. It was so early on, my brain filtered it out.
It might be... If I was in Clip's position right now, I think I'd really start desperately looking for that Moon Pearl. You know, you might not need it just because... Well... I guess you still might not need it. But it would make a lot of things easier, and also GT is open, like, almost solely with Hookshot and Hammer.
Yeah.
Which has a very large number of items.
Gotta be pretty high on their minds right now.
Spleebie doing the old bumper cave. Finds the mushroom. Is he going to bunny clip that mushroom?
Nah. Dash buffer in and then go back to the dark world. Is he still touching? He is still touching.
That's clever. I think that. In hindsight, it makes perfect sense, but I don't think I've ever seen that. I clearly do not watch the races.
I've seen it used for GT a couple of times, but I don't think I've seen it for that particular check. But it's the same theory.
Yeah. Technically, potentially slower, right? But depending on the clip, but certainly easy. All right, we're getting Skull Woods. I'm guessing that's where Clips is headed now.
Yeah.
See if Clips also picks up the mushroom. Mushroom Print-in's another weird in HMG because, as always, it's like kind of awkward to get to depending on what you already have done. But you know, it's never a bad idea to go pick up some potions in this mode.
Especially with Mushroom, even if you find the flute, there's the Moon Pearl. Even if you find the flute, half the time you're not activating it. So it really
Spleebie dropping down. I guess we'll find out if he's getting locked. That's bad.
Ooh.
That's... And he get grabbed. Yeah, this is... He's still going to get locked, even if he turned back into Link. He's going to have no key to escape. And because we know the moon's in there, he's going to have to do a bunny clip down the mountain.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong racer. That makes way more sense now.
Yeah. Now, Spleebie went in the normal way. He's good. It's not often that happens, but it does happen. Oh, Simple trying to get to Kiki and getting the correct input there. Just going to try again. Yep. So I think we saw this from Spleebie earlier too, but this is just a shortcut to Mini Modorm Cave, where you can go to Pod. You don't have to go this way. You could climb the mountain normally. It's not much slower, especially with Hookshot. Could also just clip the Hera too. Either way's fine.
There's our second Skullwoods item.
It kind of seemed like Clips was a little bit ahead there for a bit, based on that hammer location, but I think that Skullwoods mishap is he's just going to be hemorrhaging time for a while now, doing everything slower until he gets that Moon Pro.
Yeah, Spleebie will pick up the hammer in Thieves Town for sure. It won't be that much of an advantage at this point.
Yeah, and he'll immediately be able to go anywhere. So much is in logic now with that hammer. Most dungeons are completable except for Swamp Palace and Eastern. You could basement clip Pod if you really wanted to. You need a potion for it, but always possible. Although trying to skip bow in a seed where Eastern is a crystal is usually not the best idea.
Yeah. I don't know if either of these runners basement clip anyway. I don't believe Spleebie does. Just kind of watching the runners retrace each other's steps for a minute here until we see some new checks on Spleebie's side.
Yep. Yeah, the next big area will be, I assume after this, he's probably... We'll see if he does Smiths. He might combo Smiths right now. It's a bit of a lengthy deck, but generally speaking, the seed doesn't give you mitts that early unless it's required or it's like one of the last items placed.
Yeah, I'd say it's
which it very well could be. Yeah, very well could be.
Then you don't have to worry about coming back and going back into the Dark World to get them.
Yeah.
Even if you clear everything else and you need to go back to Mire, you can just do the Mire super jump and not have to go back to the Village of Outcasts ever again.
Whether he does the Smiths or not, I think the route we'll probably see Spleebie take once he's done with Village here is going around to like Hype and then immediately into Ice. Ice obviously in Logic with Mitts and Hammer and Airrod full clearable. And he has, he doesn't need to do anything fancy to get to it. He can just water walk straight across, fake flipper across, mirror wrap if he wants to. Flipper wrap. Oh, can't flipper wrap without the flippers. He could fake flipper wrap, I guess, if you wanted to. Ice has a lot of interesting ways to get into it now. Back in the day, you mirror Raptor went home.
Yeah. Still my favorite way to get there.
So in terms of required items left, Red Cane, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that neither one of these two are going to hover all of Turtle Rock. So definitely Red Cane and Bow and Flippers. And then we probably are good otherwise. It most likely have the required medallion for Mire, even though we haven't seen it yet.
Now, Spleebie is capable of the long hovers, but that's a lot of them to be doing in a row.
Yeah. And to just... It's usually not something you just kind of want to bust in a race, unless you're really, really confident with it, because it's... If you're like, all I have left is Trinex, let's give it a shot, sure, you know, go to Laser Bridge, sure, try it out, but...
Yeah, maybe if you get the big key in the center section.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, is Spleebie recently replaced his rubbers, and while he can get hovers, it's not as consistent yet as he used to be, so...
Yeah. Like sneakers, you gotta break them in.
$50
so I guess... Yeah, it might be more interesting to talk about, I guess, what's not in logic at this point. Which isn't much. Mostly just bosses.
Yeah.
And there's our third medallion.
Nice guaranteed Eastern access. Or Meyer access.
I feel like Eclipse knows that he's got to take the plunge back into Skullwoods. But, like, mentally, after something like that, you kind of just feel real bad.
Yeah.
It's easy to get into that, well, guess I'll just skip it and lose if it's required mentality. Spleebie forgetting he can grab the smith first because he has the mirror.
Oh, he may just be skipping it, but I guess you do have to do dig game first. See if he comes back, or if he just opts to go right to Meyer.
Yeah, with this route he wouldn't have to. He could do dig game after smiths, but that would be if you're skipping purple chest, which is a decision. Lugging that thing around isn't the worst, but there are... It's a question of efficiency versus density, right? So,
yeah, it's an interesting question. We'll just have to see what he does in a couple more digs here. Is going back.
Or getting the Hera Tower room. See if Spleebie missed. If Spleebie missed something here, that might actually be huge for Clips. Flippers here would be absolutely massive.
Yeah. Flippers or Cane of Samaria would both be really good options.
I just don't see Spleebie coming to do Hera Tower room anytime soon. He might hit it up when he's clipping into Swamp, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's one of those situations where it's you look at it and say that's my last location, and it's just a piece of art.
Yep. One thing that's in logic that never comes, like, I don't think I've had a seed yet that's needed, but a Spike Cave is doable with the blue cane.
That is true. So he looks like he's going to pick up the purple chest, maybe? Yep.
Doing the old shortcut. This works out because he doesn't need mirror to check K45, so he can just... as long as you don't mirror and have it delete your follower, it still thinks the purple chest is following you. So if you mirror in front of the thief who unlocks it... Oh wow, there's flippers just right there. If you mirror in front of the thief who unlocks it, it'll open it, you know, turn it in, so to speak, before it deletes it.
My favorite shortcut in the game right there. Being able to jump down from Stumpy.
And we're going. Oh, he hasn't checked. That's right. Clips this, but Spleebie did not. So Spleebie's going to get his Quake here.
In my mind, up until now, Meyer was a crystal. I only just realized it was a pendant, so probably not gonna see that dip. Maybe Meyer shed, but I can't see going in the dungeon itself.
Yeah, that would be probably a last. I would see them going into Turtle Rock before, without the cane, before I see them going into Meyer.
Definitely.
The one exception potentially being if they like accidentally. Spleebie uses key, for example. Well, they both use their key, so they would need to unlock the door from Hyrule Castle, which I don't believe either one did while they were at Dark Cross, so they'd have to go back in there, open the door, then go back to Hera, clip into sewers, grab the rat key. It's a whole process. It's getting at. And Spleebie's going into Meyer anyway, so...
I'm pretty sure both of them opened that door in the escape.
Oh, okay, perfect.
But yeah, funny, we talk all the talk, and here we are going into Meyer anyway. Oh, never mind. Should have baited.
Why even open it then? What?
Maybe if you have to come back later, but I can't see the point. I don't know.
You know what it might be? Maybe he figures he's going to come back later. But, like, he wanted to check Shed, and he figured he'll come back later via Super Hop, because it's quicker. But if you're in that state, I don't think you can see what the medallion requirement is, so... Or maybe he's just like, what am I doing? I can go to Hype Cave and Ice Palace instead. All
maybe Swamp Palace on his mind, but even still, like, you just go back to Hera and steal the escape key, which I know he knows how to do.
Yeah. Malmog up in the Skullwoods pit bomb knowledge, avoiding getting knocked into the pit. Despite what it looks like, you can avoid getting hit by that Ropa with some precise movement. You can also walk directly into it from the bottom, and it'll hit you and knock you back in a straight line, which also should avoid getting knocked into the pit, and then you just walk through it. Both are options, depending on how much health you have.
Is he going all the way up to Catfish, I think? Or has he not done...
Is?
Oh, he didn't do the pyramid stuff, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, Spleebie already forgetting my hot new flipper or long setup there.
Oh man, I gotta learn that.
You just spin really low, and you won't hop out. You just dash up.
I know, Clips, you had the invincibility. Could have dashed up.
That one's also one of those interesting minor things. You can dash in between those without getting hit normally. It's like, I think, frame perfect dash at the start, or it might be a frame roll. But if you splash beforehand, like you want to check the Meyer medallion, so you full right splash and then immediately walk in, the iframes will last long enough to dash through them. It's a huge window.
Yeah. I know Spleebie did it earlier. I can't remember if he splashed invincibility or if he just got the dash.
Yep, going to Catfish. This is... I don't agree with this at all. Maybe he's combining it with the Witch, so it makes a little more sense, but he has completed crystals that have, like... Ice Palace kind of has this rep of being a terrible dungeon, but when you have the Red Cane, it's really fast to full clear. Versus these like one-off checks, like Catfish and Potion Shop, which you can combo from the mountain anyway. I don't think he's done East Dark Mountain, so he could clip down direct to Catfish and do it from there. It's just like not the biggest deal in the world. It depends on what you're prioritizing. It just seems a little more item efficient, like item volume efficient to do that first, because you have to do it anyway. Like, you're not losing that much time. Cute shortcut from Spleebie there.
I've never seen that before. I love it.
Oh yeah, Malmo pointing at he might swim up the mountain. That's true. If he does do the mountain swim, then, you know, it's kind of exactly what I said in the other order. So, which case, it's all like the same path. If he turned around here, though, that would be weird. Nope, he's
I forget that this is a thing you can do these days. Something good to learn.
Yeah. You can also, so you can clip here, which will put you where the slope is. So you can clip to Hookshot Cave, although he has the glove, he doesn't need to do that. But if you swim clip off the northern slope instead, it'll put you directly in front of those caves. So just a little optimizing you can do. Back-to-back source 2023 from Spleebie. Oh, there's Red Cane. Okay. I feel like Spleebie's making a complete fool of me. Everything I say someone should do, they immediately do something else and find an important item. Well, unfair. I'm gonna get destroyed this tournament.
That's okay. I'll be right behind you.
So really, we're just looking for the bow. No bow prize. Whoever figures out how to clip red Igors out of the wall.
You need to set up
There's a trophy with your name on it.
I wonder if anyone's ever collected the low pause bounty that was set a while ago.
I do remember that. People were doing that for a while. I forget who it was, but Region maybe? Kind of has big A-press category on Mario vibes.
Excellent.
If you ever have Gold Sword, no need to spin the pokies, just slash them twice. It's usually a little easier.
Rock much nicer in glitched modes than it is in non-glitched modes because you can just enter from the back or from the middle. Feels a lot nicer.
The route Spleebie's doing is like the most efficient way to clear it, I think. But depending on the key layout, you can get stuck, and then you have to. Wow. Okay.
There it is.
You have to go enter from the front, but that clearly does not matter here. Plus, he has medallions anyway. Yeah, I would have lost this race by... I would have been in Ice Palace in Ganon's Tower and lost this race by 20 minutes.
I don't know if I would have gone to Ice.
What's he need? But... What's he need in the cave for? Just trying to... Is he looking for the 4th sword? Get that 5th sword?
5 Swords Adventures. Wait.
Yeah, the not doing Mimic Cave first is weird because there are some situations where you want to. I guess you can always, if you get stuck, you can mirror, and if you don't get stuck, you can go out the front entrance maybe, or mirror again. So maybe he's thinking it from that side. Not sure. But what you cannot do is eat the dungeon because you will get stuck. Although he could mirror and walk up and hammer the pegs, but normally you would get stuck.
Yeah. SimpleClips doing what I would have probably done in this seed, which was go to Swamp Palace.
Yep. But really, all that's the only question here then is. How efficiently will Spleebie unlock Swamp? That's kind of the only thing left to do. Obviously, if the small key is in the first chest in Swamp, you could go through it normally, but you would then have to check that, which is a little low sometimes. So I wonder if he'll check the first chest before trying to flip straight in for Meyer. Just completely avoid going into that dungeon altogether.
Yeah, well,
Other than that, yeah, he has a pretty substantial lead at this point. Simple just needs to go to Dark Death Mountain, but he's a little bit behind in overall progression.
And now it's just find an efficient path. I would say probably... Well, I guess it doesn't super matter, because you want to converge on GT at the end anyway. So you can pretty much do these dungeons in whatever order fits your fancy.
Depending on how Simple routes, he could make up some time in just efficient routing, because he can do ice. I mean, he's going to be full clearing ice, so that kind of kills all of that, but he can do ice after swamp here. He won't need to worry about going into Monitor or doing any of the other nonsense, and then he could just go straight up Death Mountain and from Turtle Rock go over to Pod very easily in several different ways and combo it with Eastern.
It's the Specky clip. Just gonna be checking the left side first.
Makes sense. Normally, when you're routing Swamp, you would do left side last if you have to, even though it's a little slower overall, just because you might be able to skip it, but with two items / 3 items logically required still, you know, it makes sense to go here first. I always see people doing that bomb setup in a weird way. Maybe it's unfamiliarity with buffers, but basically all you need to do is just line up with the rail, walk to the left, and then buffer one frame up, and then like dash turn and drop the bomb.
Well, that's all it is for that setup.
Yeah, it's just 1 pixel higher than the rail, basically. And then you do the regular splash.
Nice. I never learned that I do the same setup that SimpleClips just did, like original setup.
If you're bad at and or hate 1 frame buffers, like sword slash buffers, then by all means, because like you watch people do like odd bomb jumps and stuff, and they're just going back and forth with pause buffers because it's surprising. Like it seems easy, like yeah, just press up and hit the sword right after it, but unless you do it a lot and you get used to it, it's something that's very hard to consistently and reliably do. So I understand it. But once you're used to it, it saves you time everywhere. Slash buffers are like the best tech ever.
They are pretty nice. So now Spleebie just gets to mirror and go straight into Eastern Palace. Super nice, convenient dungeon placement.
Yeah, see, I think that's what it looked like. That was what's in. I can't be sure, but he did like the dash turn up, but he went like 3 frames, so it was way too far north. He had to correct. This is going to be a bad one though. Like full clearing swamp is not quick. There's the difference between go moding swamp and full clearing swamp is probably the most severe out of all the dungeons other than GT. Sometimes. Like you could do an entire extra dungeon in that time easily.
Definitely a big time dedication.
Yeah, I'm correct about there's actually some interesting nuances to that pot shot in Swamp that you don't run into often, which is that you can hook shot to the chest from the bottom. Like if you're going up to move past it, you can kind of hook shot and then move slightly, hook shot again to hit the skull. But if the chest is opened, the hook shotable pixels is actually less, so you can't hook shot the corner of the chest. You have to like hook shot it dead on. It's kind of one of those weird, interesting nuances with the way this game works sometimes.
Game's weird, man. Nice synced up crystals for a second here. There's just so much knowledge to remember in this game. So many things affect other things. It just takes years to remember everything.
Yeah, it's really interesting to watch these races too. It's a really good way to learn a lot of different things, even if you've been playing for a while, because everyone seems to have like slightly different setups to the way they do a lot of things. The hobo clip we talked about earlier, everyone seems to have a different version of how to get to hobo. There's various ways to do like the turtle rock mirror wraps, things like that. So, and some of them are a lot better in certain situations. So it's always interesting to see how people approach those.
Spleebie remembering that he needs to pick up a small key still.
Yeah.
He's wandering.
No. There you go.
Okay.
Almost hit that saving quick. Or not? Okay.
He's leaving.
Is he going to Meyer? I think he's going to Meyer. Ooh.
I can't see that being faster.
Maybe he just doesn't remember that he opened the door. Or maybe he didn't open the door.
Or he thinks he killed the key rat. Maybe he did kill the key rat and we missed it.
Is he going to GT?
This has to be the super jump, I think. Yeah, this is the super jump. Interesting. We'll have to ask him about that later.
Yeah. So this just goes back to what we said earlier, right? About that Hera small key. Obviously he used the key either way, but if he had reset rather than save and quit after getting stuck in Tower Room, because he never did go back, I don't think.
Yeah.
Doing it this way is an easy 3-4 minute time loss, maybe more, depending on how quick he is with it. It's just so much extra time.
And since he opened Meyer the first trip too, we don't even get to see the scrolly scroll. Big sad.
Yeah, he opened Meyer and then didn't go in. So I was wondering maybe if he just was thinking he had to come back and didn't want to try and guess what the medallion was.
Yeah, something we were theorizing at. I still think you just mark it down.
That. Okay, that works too. So if you throw that red boom diagonally, it's a little easier. Same thing in this room. You can walk through the door and throw the red boom diagonally, and then just walk to the right. And as long as you're quick with it, you should hit first switch. One of the rare instances in where having the red boomerang is versus the boomerang is way worse.
I don't know if we've seen the GT Big Key on Clip's side. We'll have to see how. There it is.
We have now. One interesting thing is, I wonder if Spleebie will just clip the left side, or or dash, manual or dash, or if it'll open the door. Okay, he knows. You can't clip into that right wall unless you move the wall first, which is actually kind of interesting because this came up during the All Dungeons tournament, vanilla speedrun, when it was rerouted with like new knowledge. For the longest time, we didn't know you could bomb clip that right wall because everyone just tried from the Meyer preset, which was before the key, so you didn't push the wall out. So you're just like, oh yeah, it just doesn't work there for some reason. And then it was just like that for like months or years. And then someone posted a video, it's like, I did it just fine, and nobody could. There was like this big testing phase where eventually we realized we were all stupid.
That's excellent. And yeah, Clips did find the other bow in the rando room as well, so he's not going to have to worry about the one in TR. Grab that cane and be in go mode.
Probably feels really good right now. Will not feel good later when he finds the other one.
Yeah.
Especially because he certainly is not saving time with these silvers with full clearing GT after that big key location.
I don't even think you get the other one, because if you go into Turtle Rock from the middle after getting the cane, you're going to get the big key in the lava chest before making it to the front. So unless you go in the front, you see those silvers.
I believe you'll still need a small key, so he'll have to keep going. Unless he wants to
oh
get
yeah,
a
maybe
key.
you're right.
There might be one on Laser Bridge, I'm not sure.
Yeah, there could be the mirror wrap.
Yeah. You have the mirror shield?
Big ugly shield.
There's a really easy strat there with silvers and mirror shield, which is literally just walk directly into the mimics and shoot them with an arrow. It's the good old hundo-ish strat. Like the easy hundo strat.
Yeah, as much as I hate the look of that shield, I gotta admit it's very useful. Nice smooth walk back, and Spleebie gets the spiky clip first try as well.
Very difficult one. Pull off for sure. I like the when that was first kind of put out there to the masses. Like every 5 minutes, someone's like, "Look at this easier setup," just for like the entire day.
It was a pretty wild ride.
Yeah, progressively easier setups.
Now it's just walk here, and you're done.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame that Clip has almost no use in any vanilla speedrun whatsoever, because you have the hook, or you don't have the hook shot until you already go past that, so you have to flood it.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. And if you're playing like a category where you don't have to do that, you also don't need to go into that room.
Even in glitch speedruns, I think you typically get the hammer first, but I'm not like super versed in them. I only know AD.
Yeah.
Or not AD, I only know any percent RNG.
Yeah, you would you have the hammer, you clip in there, and then you have to flood it, so you can swim clip. Some people swim clip. There's like some rail clip. You can do the swim wall clip as well, which is a little slower. But yeah, basically just swim clip past it, and, grab the hook shot at a big chest, and then leave and go back later.
Pretty rough Lamo 2 fight with only the Master Sword and conserving magic.
You know, Clips only has half magic, fire rod, and 3 bottles. What more could he have done there?
True.
There's also so when you have the fire rod and the lamp, there's never any danger running out of magic on Lamo, because you can grab the small magic pot right after him. So you can still do like, I mean, he didn't do it there anyway, but you can do like the normal Samaria cry afterwards. And then obviously there's magic pots in this room, so even then. It's just slower if you have to pick them up, but
I'd say
certainly
it's
a lot
worth
faster
it.
than a lot faster than fighting Lambo with the Master Sword.
Definitely. Spleebie do Hope Roam? I completely missed it if he did.
Maybe. I gotta be honest, I haven't been looking at Spleebie's side as much because he's just zooming to the end.
Yeah.
He's gonna find the big. No, the key was in Rando Room.
Yeah,
We'll
Rando
find
Room.
it after this.
Must have done the right side, but I would be amazed Spleebie never does Dark Magician or anything. I'm keen to it.
Yeah. There's a fun strat in this room that's tension. It's one of those. It's like unnecessarily harder, but it saves like a third of a second. Where instead of that like left hook shot clip down out of Dark Magician Room, you can go down the right side and then like barely scrape past the spike and beat it to the locked door.
Nice.
I encourage people to play around with rooms in GT with quick swap on, because there's a lot of different interesting things you can do when you don't have to waste time menuing.
With the key in Rando Room, we won't even be able to see Spleebie hold down right out of Rando Room. Big sad.
Okay. As Mirror Shield still gets bodied by the fireball. Big sad. One good tip for Aga is on the phases where he's not guaranteed to throw an energy ball, be far away from him. Because obviously, as you saw, if you slash the fireball point blank, it's still going to hit you. But when he's farther away, you can slash it like early, dodge the spread, and then still hit the other energy balls.
This is good
Makes
knowledge.
makes it a little bit harder to hit with energy balls, depending on how far away you end up being. But once you're better at it, it's a little more consistent. You don't have to worry about getting blasted right off the bat and missing all of them.
Is this Turtle Rock from Clips?
Most likely. Turtle Rock / Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah. Not that there was too much other places to go other than like Ice Palace.
No, he's going to Pod. Interesting.
There might be an item there. I could see that with the bow, if there is an item here.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
either way, he has to go back anyway, so it's not too big a deal.
This is another one. The Kiki skip clip can be done in a surprising number of ways. There's the bonk clip. There's the insta bomb clip. There's obviously OG sword buffer. But funnily enough, there is also a way to dash, to combine the sword clip with a dash citrus. Not citrus, but a dash clip. To cut out like 4 frames of clipping. Where you clip in 3 frames and then dash 1 frame, and then I think it's 1 more frame after that, and then you're the full distance in. It's not really any faster, but it's a little bit easier if you're good at the dash clips.
There are just so many setups for everything in this game.
items, Slips is missing. I don't remember where the mitts were, but they're not super relevant at this point. And then the red cane and the bow are both. Red cane's in Check Cave, I think.
Yeah, it's Super Bunny, but close
Super
enough.
Bunny, yeah. And then the other bow is in Turtle Rock, which he may or may not path into.
Well, that makes a lot better of a case for them entering the Turtle Rock from there. I forgot I thought it was in the dungeon until just now. So yeah, that makes more sense where you're not going to be rapping if you're already on that side of the mountain.
One thing that took me a surprising amount of time to put together was obviously the logic slightly changed recently, so mirror flips and such are logically required, which includes the Turtle Rock laser bridge wrap, which I believe means that Big Key can no longer be the laser
Ooh. Get clutch.
Oh. Okay. I got scared there for a second because he didn't stop his dash. It's a good way to end up in sewers, eh?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or, not mirrorless, I'm sorry, the laser bridge mirror. It expects you to go into the middle or the front. So maybe it never could have been in laser bridge, and I'm just insane this whole time because for a while I kept going in to the laser bridge entrance and then all the way to the front from there, which isn't like it's fine sometimes, but just kept getting frustrated. It's like, man, I'm never getting lucky with this Big Key, and then I realized that it can be there. You're playing cross world. One's HMG cross keys.
Oh baby. Spleebie and I have done multi-worlds of that before.
Every location is immediately in logic.
Shoutouts to HMG F2 with mirror wrap in logic.
Okay, Spleebie doing the early blue to set up the easy triple, but then just shooting him from the side anyway.
Get your GGs in the chat for Spleebie. Finishing up with an official race time GG time of 1:25:36, just like on his timer. Let's go.
GGs. Interestingly enough, it looks like Spleebie's really far, SimpleClips is really far behind. But honestly, he's already done GT. Eastern takes like a minute, and then he just needs to finish Turtle Rock, which is kind of impressive considering he locked himself in Skullwoods and pretty much full cleared like 2 extra dungeons. So you don't have to he won't be losing the time that Spleebie lost going into Mire.
Okay. Speaking of Spleebie, we are joined by him in the interview booth. GG Spleebie.
GG's.
The story of this seed was SimpleClips kind of abandoned Skullwoods for a long time and didn't go for that Moon Pearl. Did go into Thieves Town and got that hammer a lot sooner, so we kind of thought that might lead to something. And then there was just a little bit more back and forth after that.
Yep.
Shoot, I don't remember where the cane was.
Super Bunny.
Is he missing that, or does he have it?
No, he's missing it. He hasn't been up to East Death Mountain. Though he has is actually the one was in GT after the Big Key, so that's the one he has.
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't been to Turtle Rock or anything. It was pretty close overall. I would say you guys were pretty much about even most of the time. And then Clips after Thieves Town went into Skullwoods and got knocked in the hole, got stuck because the Big Key was there. And so ended up putting off the Pearl for a while, kind of got a little worse from there.
Oh yeah, that was something we were going to ask about as well, is we saw you open the door in Escape. So we kind of figured you were gonna flip from Hera and grab that small key from the key rat. But then you ended up going to Meyer instead. Did you not remember you opened the door, or what was the story there?
No, it wasn't until that, when I got it, obviously, when I got into Hera and I had 0 keys, and I'm like, oh shoot, I saved and quit out of the basement earlier.
Yep.
And I panicked, and yeah, I should have thought, I remembered the key rat on my way to Meyer, and I was like, oh, I'm already on my way, I'll just keep going.
Yeah. It's easy to get when you're in like the last stretch to remember all those things that happened so long ago. We had specifically mentioned the Hera thing. Obviously, if you hadn't gotten stuck, you would have spent the key either way. But we made note of the fact that you save and quit instead of resetting. So
I mean, I was planning to save scum it, but
yeah, kind of everything went downhill.
I love the tournament panic reactions. We all have them.
SimpleClips forfeited.
Your GG's in the chat for SimpleClips.
GG's to him. It was a good race. What were you? I'm curious. I'm always interested in what people's mindset is in these types of seeds, where you find like that mirror, and you don't have a moon pearl, and you've done all of the light world. Because obviously Pearl can be in so many terrible locations at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I was running out of places when I got it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, we just have a whole bunch in the Dark World.
Yeah.
So then I just went to Skullwoods.
Worked out.
I mean, planning to do Skullwoods Thieves Town because it has more locations than just the 3 for the Pyramid Ferry.
Yeah, there's also Turtle Rock potentially, but neither.
Yeah.
Both of you pretty much stayed clear there. We saw SimpleClips do Link State, Thieves Town before Skullwoods, which ended up working out kind of nicely. But
we're also joined by SimpleClips in the interview booth. GG's to you as well.
GG.
You know, I accidentally fell when I got to Skullwoods and then got key locked out of doing anything there.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate mishap. It happens. The thing to remember about that row there is just approach them with confidence. That as soon as you start trying to like finesse your way around, you get bodied a bit. You can just walk right through them, take the hit,
or you can go around the bottom left corner of the pit.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was doing. It's just been a while since I did that diagonal there.
Yeah, but if you wait long enough, then the Ropa gets right up in your business.
Yeah, and he smells weakness, so the second you hesitate, he's right there. He's like a bear.
It wasn't the enemy. I think I let go of a direction, and so Link just decided I'm gonna fall now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Can't blame you for putting off Skullwoods after that. It could have worked out if the Moon Pearl had been in Turtle Rock or somewhere, but
I think what actually killed me though was that because I got Hammer out of logic in Thieves Town before that Moon Pearl, I specifically went, okay, the Moon Pearl is not in Super Bunny Cave, so I won't go there, even though normally at that moment I would have gone there. If I had just not realized that, it would have saved a lot of time.
Yeah, East Death Mountain was pretty loaded. Well, between that and Turtle Rock, obviously. Although the bow wasn't really needed, but that was kind of like it wasn't obvious because you guys still had so many dungeons left to do, but you were pretty much just looking for those like flippers and cane and bow for a good portion of the season.
So the Super Bunny's set to be your last location in that case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have probably gone over there to check Hookshot Cave and checked Super Bunny on the way, but yeah, I would have I was not gonna get a very good time on this one.
Yeah, we were also worried at the start. It was looking really bad for you at the 12-minute mark when you went to Zora's domain and didn't have enough money to do Zora. Obviously, the ice rod ended up being there. So we were wondering if you'd ever find your way back, but luckily, with the way the seed turned out, you both pretty much ended up full clearing the light world anyway. So there's never really any danger.
Mm-hmm. Are you sure that was 12-minute mark? Because I went to Zora first.
Yeah, it was pretty early, I thought.
Yeah, it was around there where you went to Zora without money, and then a little bit. I can't remember the exact order, but one of you left Zora, the other one completed Zora a little later and got the ice rod.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty early, yeah.
Did anyone find flute? Because I just noticed that's one of the only items I'm missing.
Yeah, I don't think flute was seen this seed. Not super incredibly useful in this mode anyway, but can be good, especially at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I did want to ask, both of you kind of struggled at the start with the hobo clip. Kind of ended up, it was so long ago, but I think you were both kind of trying to use the same setup, and then eventually just said screw it and did the fake flipper.
Yeah.
Which was kind of just amusing. Yeah.
I usually practice that one specifically before every HMG seed, but for some reason it didn't work out for me once the race actually started. So
yeah,
that kind of happens with that clip. That's why I bail on it and just use something else if it does.
Yeah, we even got to see the classic air hop into the transition was another one. It was pretty interesting because it gave us a good chance to talk about the fact that there's so many different setups for that hobo clip that people use. So as for quite a while, you two were basically trading locations you were doing at the start, and it was interesting to see the different ways you guys are approaching clipping to the same locations.
There are so many clips to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right. We were kind of talking about that at the beginning. There's just a million different ways to do everything in this game, and really get to showcase that a lot in this tourney. It's a really cool, cool thing.
Spleebie, I did notice that you did left transition for swim clip to pyramid fairy. What's up with that?
I forgot that I had gotten the flippers.
But you don't need them. You can fake flipper north too.
Oh yeah, I saw that post. I didn't have time to sit down in the practice hack and try it out.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll just I'll ask Malmo to pin it. Make sure everyone looks at it.
Bring it up in every race until everyone's learned it. Let's go.
Yeah. I actually rage practiced that clip, that screen for like 20 minutes after my last race because I accidentally soft locked after doing GT and had to reclimb.
Oh dang.
Man.
Which luckily we didn't see any of that this race, other than the Skullwoods and Hole Fall and progress loss at the very least. So that's always good to see. No infinite scrolls.
That'll be for next race.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting pretty close to wrapping up. Any final thoughts from you two?
I'll see you in the next race tomorrow, Spleebie.
Yeah, thanks for the commentary and tracking. Thanks, SpeedGaming. See you tomorrow.
Same time tomorrow?
Same time tomorrow.
Yeah, same time tomorrow.
Excellent.
And I think we already have a crew for that one, just waiting to see if we get a channel. So stay tuned. Keep an eye on the schedule.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
matches tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for joining us for this match. Go ahead and hand it off. Appreciate Zero Rush and Other Tom for comms and tracking alongside me, and hope you guys all have a good night.